baddest one in the section. Fit the runner, boy, you nigga, no question. You would run a motherfucker high stepping. Hey, you never had a big enough weapon. Motherfucker never learned your lesson. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I'm an 88 pack nigga, woof. I mean, day walker, drink blood, trains out, full moon, motherfucker, change like a hoe, nigga. I'm just a nigga from the hood, trying to stack a little cheddar for the money.
Yeah, buddy, I already know what it is. Drew Titan Bronze on deck. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. We got some guests coming in. You know, when they get it together, they'll get here, and we'll salute them as they come on in. Let's see who we got in the building. Black Alpha, Dwayne Jones, Shogun, Jose Diaz, Jerome Truitt, Akando, what's good? King Jr., Ratchet since 91, Big Homie Coop, Jai Smooth, OG Eric, salute. Big Homie Coop, Tat Lawson, KG84, salute, fam. Jay Horseman, Tay-Tay, Yave, who we got else? Kano, Local Sports in the mother effing building, salute. Dave the Real Thomas, Jai Smooth. Oh, look at this.
Where?
Wow. Ivan, what's good, bro?
Hey, what's up, fam? How you feel?
Good, man. Good to have you back. How you doing?
Oh, man, I can't complain. I'm loving. I'm good.
No doubt. Driving around with the family, I see.
Yeah, I got my granddaughter. I'm getting ready to pick up my wife.
Oh, man, that's what's up, man. That's what's up, man. Good to see you back, bro.
Thanks.
No doubt, no doubt.
Salute, Ivan. How you doing, bro?
Hey, what's up, Chad? How you feel?
Feeling pretty good, man. Glad to have you on.
Oh, man, I appreciate it. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. I always appreciate a pro's perspective because you know I'm just a supporter, but I always like to hear the pros.
That's all I am, man. That's all I am. I'm a supporter too.
No doubt, no doubt. So let's just get right down to it. You watched the fights last night?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
Hold on. Let's go. Which fights you talking about? Because there's a bunch of them on.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. I'm gonna go in order. First.
Nope. No, I'm just being real because you said the first one. I know you're gonna probably say that was Triple G.
If you want to get that out the way, we can. Because that was the first
I didn't see that. I'm gonna tell you the fight I seen. I seen the Lubin fight.
Join me.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna call that the best for last. I'm gonna say the best for last. I'm gonna say the best for last because the best performance, in my opinion, was Tony Harrison. He stole the show last night.
Okay.
Tony stole the show last night.
I seen that fight. I don't know. I try not to be a critic on stuff because that's not me. But I try to call it the best way I see it. And I really wasn't. Maybe the early rounds, I wasn't really too cool with the way Tony was fighting. I thought he was letting the guy push him back too much, giving him too much pressure. But he was countering real well. He was countering very well, and I really liked.
I was impressed with.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that. But then again, styles make fights, and I don't know who he promoted by, but whoever the promoter was picked the right fight for him, and he did the right thing.
He is what I saw. He fought this guy Garcia, who actually his last time I saw Garcia, he was in the ring with Fundora.
Okay.
And he gave Fundora a little bit of fits. And Garcia's he's a stay busy fighter. He's like a wind-up dog. He didn't stop.
Right.
From round 1 to 10, he didn't stop. He was throwing punches, he was going forward. And what impressed me with Tony was that he was I know his corner was telling him, do not lay on those ropes. When he was there on the ropes,
right?
I mean, man, that jab was pumping all night, man. He was possessed by Larry Holmes last night.
Like I said, styles make fights, man. I don't want to say opponents, but like I said, styles make fights, and that was a great fight for him to come back with after being off for so long.
Yeah, that was tough. Stormy, what you got on that?
Well, I felt like Tony, he got into that groove where he found a place to utilize the skills he have, and he took off and ran with it. he was painting a picture with that jab. I love to see a fighter who understands how to use the jab. And boy, he took advantage of that at every moment. I liked how he not only worked the jab up and down, but he worked it off of angles, and he could step around, and he was doing the old trick. Now, I know Ivan knows this. Tony was doing an old trick. When Garcia would step very close to him, he pushed with his jab hand, he pushed Ivan's left shoulder back subtly. And that would make him have to slightly reset as Tony would step around and pop him a couple of more times and then step again. It's a beautifully executed move when you're a veteran fighter and know how to do it, because the guy you're doing it to, he doesn't realize you're doing it. You're making him reset. George Foreman used to do it to people
all the time.
He used to put his hands on people and turn their shoulders just subtly. It's an old school trick. That's why Ali called him the mummy, because he fought with his hands out in front of him like that a little bit.
Yep.
But that's what he was doing. He did it to Ken Norton. He definitely did it to Joe Frazier. So it's like when you know how to do it and get away with it, because the referees just thinks sometimes it's incidental contact, you know.
Right.
But that's what Tony was doing after he got really warmed up and into the fight, and he was doing it to Garcia over and over again. I thought it was brilliant. What's up?
Right.
Marco, what's good,
Marco,
bro?
What's up?
How you doing?
What's up, M? The Big M. What's up, the Big M?
What up? What up, Philly's finest?
That's what's up. I want to real quick, because I'm hoping we get to it. We might not though. But one thing I want to make notice on, and you guys probably can get y'all 2 cents on it, and probably not. But I think y'all probably think the same way I think. Last night, and I know I'm jumping all over the place, not y'all, but me. The fight between Lubin and what is it, Fundora, whatever his name is. The same game. I think that was a bad fight. Of course, any fighter that feels though he's confident in what he do is gonna fight anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like when they called me to fight Gaddy, I had to think about it twice, but I already knew that I could beat Gaddy because I know I posed the style to beat him. But of course, you know, you think about anything before you do it. With the Lubin fight last night, 2 things that pissed me off and that had me thinking all day. Like, one, like I said, I know Lubin is a good fighter. I like Lubin. I just think he's not big enough for them 54-pounders. He kind of small, and then especially last night when he fought the kid, that showed that he was small, because not just because the kid was tall, extra tall, but he was kind of big too, and he can move well. But what has me mad, really, really mad, is 2 things. And I say this to all the guys that walk in my gym and say to me, I want you to train me. I want you to help me. Things didn't go right in the last fight, and I think that you can help me correct my things for the next fight. What has me upset was when the Lubin fight was 2 things. I know Kevin Cunningham real well. He's a great trainer, a great human being, and a great guy. What made me mad is that when you have a trainer that, and I know all these trainers do, regardless if they skimming off the top, if they taking money from you, if they not in the gym every day, only 3 or 4, they still put in all their hard work with you guys to make you guys champion. But what I don't understand is, how can you be in a fight and you don't listen to your trainer? That makes me so, excuse my expression, so fucking mad. It kills me. Now, Kevin giving Lubin great strategy, good straight advice through the whole fight, and you fucking around to do a 360-degree turn. How do you do that? I don't understand it. When it's like you taking your dog and you sending your dog out there to fight another dog that you know your dog is not going to win against because he just don't pose the style to do it. Lubin was doing everything right the first couple rounds, but when the tall kids start hitting him, he started changing his style. He stopped moving. He started standing there catching punches, taking punches. Then he got knocked down. That would have told me right here to get on my bike. I don't understand why these guys do this. It makes me so upset. Makes me so mad. I don't
All right,
understand.
let me get to that. Well, salute to Earl Taylor. He said Garcia seemed like he was on something. We're gonna get to all of that. Let me say what's up to Ross Thompson. Salute, fam. How you feel?
What's going on? How y'all doing?
Chilling, baby.
Did you say Ross Thompson?
Yes, sir.
What up, Big Ross?
What's going on? What's going on? What that, Ivan?
Is that the
Ivan
boss?
Robinson. What up, dude?
What's up, family?
Chilling
Oh,
out,
man,
man.
chilling.
Oh, it's good to see you, dude.
You
we
too.
gotta hook up. I gotta come to Philly.
Yeah, well, excuse me for cutting y'all off real quick and you get back to it. I'm coming down to a event down in down there at your boy what's his name? I'll think about it later, but it's an event down in New York the end of the month that I'm coming to.
Oh, okay. When?
Yeah, so I'm gonna get in
To the end of the month?
April the 30th.
Okay.
Where's it at? You know, I'm in New York too.
It's in shit. I got all that. I see y'all all that. Yeah, it's on Saturday night.
Oh, it's a fight?
No, it's my man, I can't think of his name, but he's doing a charity event.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Well, let me know, man. Me and Marco, we're in New York. We'll come through.
Okay, yeah.
No doubt.
All right, I get y'all all that.
Ross, what
All
you
right,
been up to, Ross?
let's get back to the fight.
Yeah, no doubt. Let me holler at Ross for a minute, man. What you been up to, brother?
I'm chilling, man. Just chilling. I've been in and out of the thing. I'm trying to get some gems back home, but there's been a lot of bullshit going on. So I want to stay in the boxing, but so much politics, man.
Oh, boy.
I don't really be in the game like that no more. I was coaching, and the kid, that kid Donnie I was training. I seen Sebastian just win the world title last night. Sebastian, that was his only loss. So I was talking to Donnie. He like, Ross, we need to make a comeback. His only loss is to win a world title now. So I want to stay in the game, but
What turned you off from the game when you left it? What turned you off from the game other than politics when you left it, or was it only politics that turned you off?
Well, the politics really for me, it's just like a lot of that stuff corny, the boxing stuff, man. And I even know, you look at people like De La Hoya, Floyd. If you ain't at that, then we know what we are. Like me and Ivan, we like world class fighters, but I just don't like the way they don't give you the credit.
Well, I'm going to ask you. I'm going to get right into the smoke.
Yeah.
Floyd.
What about him?
Heard some things. Ross, Floyd ducked you?
Well, see, Floyd, man. The thing is with Floyd is, the little history or whatever. Him fighting this dude, Don Moore. And who is that? When I talk to Leonard Everly, I can't even talk to Floyd. Because he's too important, I guess. That's how corny they is. But I talked to Leonard Everly. He said, Ross, Floyd said you're a big risk, small reward. So he ain't going to do an exhibition. It's only an exhibition. Because after the thing with his dad, when I dropped his dad or whatever, Floyd supposed to be like, I'm going to get in there with Ross, fuck it. Because Floyd, when he first came to Vegas, he used to always want to spar me.
Really?
Like Ivan, we was the class of 92.
Exactly.
Ivan, you came around, 89, right?
Yes, sir. Right on the nose.
Right after 88 Olympics, you came
yes,
out.
Sir.
You won the Nationals in 89, you fought De La Hoya, right?
Yes, sir.
Right. So, I boxed since I was a kid, but I had quit boxing when my two brothers died. So in 87, between 87, I ain't come back to 1990. Then I lost to Vernon at the Nationals. Then I won the National Golden Glove. Then I got on the team with Ivan and all them boys. But, Floyd, when I met Floyd the first time, he was like, I look up to all y'all boys on people from the 92 team. But, he was 96. But when he was a kid, he's like, I look up to y'all boys. I'm going to be up there with y'all. Y'all, when I get, you got to wait till 16. But he was fighting the kid fighting. Silver Glove stuff. But Floyd, and when he came to Vegas after the Olympics, I was training with Roger. And so Roger's like, I was Roger's main guy. Roger's like, Ross, I want you to show my nephew around when he comes. I hadn't seen Floyd since he was a little boy. because he had came to Vegas to stay with his uncle. He was staying with Jeff for that summer when he was a little boy. So fast forward to '96 when he came out to the Olympics. He's like, oh, so Roger like, yeah, I want you to show my nephew around, Ross. So I'm thinking Floyd was cool, but then when he came to Vegas, he was cocky. Oh, Ross, you could be my sparring partner. I said, what? I said, Roger, you want to spar? Roger, I want you to spar my nephew. Roger ain't gonna let me spar Floyd, but he came at me on some. He want to spar me, and see back then Floyd was just coming out to amateur. He had a bronze medal in the Olympics or whatever, but he won the nationals and all that. So Floyd, he just cocky. He want to one up everybody. So back then he ain't had much to compare to me. So he said, "Oh, Russell, well, how many times you win national Golden Gloves?" I guess he won it 3 times. I said, I only won it the 1 year I fought it, and I won it. He said, I won it 3 times, though. So, basically, he was one up.
Man, that sounds like something
you
he'd say,
couldn't
too.
win it 3 times. I said, I didn't fight in it 3 times. I fought it in 1 time. He always was one up in me. He always was trying to, say he was better. That's just how he is, though, So,
Wow.
I go back to all that, and then the situation with his dad. I said, well, Floyd should be, especially with this Don Moore. Who is he? Because when they said, "Oh, Ross, you big risk, small reward," because we know you can fight, but your name ain't out there like that. Your name ain't as big as like that. So if he loses to you, he losing every whatever. Man, please get the fuck out of here. Corny, they corny, man. Like sucker shit to me, And so I think Floyd should do an exhibition with me, but whatever. He ain't gonna do it, I just don't like the way, everything with this boxing. It's corny. Like, they all phonies, And then if you ain't a millionaire, they ain't talking to you all like that.
So as far as getting in the game, what would you do if you was to jump back into the industry? What would you do exactly?
Oh, man. I don't know, man. I guess it got to be like a strategy. How you would do it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Would you train fighters or open a gym?
Oh, yeah, that's what I was doing. When I did retire, I started training guys. I had Lionel Thompson. Then he ended up, his big fight, he lost to Kovalov. And then I just sent Lionel with the Mayweathers, because me and Roger always had a cool relationship, So I took Lionel to Vegas, after he lost to Kovalov. I said, you know what, man, I didn't want to move to Vegas back to Vegas. I lived in Vegas since I was young. I didn't want to move back to Vegas. So when Lionel Thompson went out there and started training with the Mayweathers, they wanted me to come, but I didn't want to. I lived in Vegas 10 years. I didn't want to be out there no more. The desert life and all that. So, I was like, nah, I'm good. I said, Lionel, you're going to train with Roger. But he never trained with Roger. He ended up training with other people out there. But he was with Mayweather and promotions and all that. So I've been training guys. The kid Donnie Mercer, the one who lost to Sebastian Fundora. Like Lionel only lost with me was to Kovalov, and Donnie only lost with me was to Fundora. So both of them guys, they lost to a world-class guy, So, I think my track record looked pretty good, just as a trainer even because, I took Donnie to 10-0, then he lost to Fundora. Then I took Lionel to 13-0, then he lost to Kovalov, But, I just haven't been into it. I'll be part-time into this. I'll be doing other stuff. I don't really have time. I'm doing other stuff outside of boxing. I don't have time. I don't really have time, but I do want to. I'm always gonna love boxing. That's my first love. So I always give back. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. That's what's up, man. And I'm glad to hear that because as much as we love the game don't love us, and this is coming from a supporter perspective. There's a lot of stuff. Every day I talk about it. We love this game, but this game does not love us. And for you guys that you should usually you used to actually compete. I mean, if I feel like this as someone sitting at home watching it, I can only imagine how you guys feel.
Right.
It's like, what the fuck? Like the fights that you could have had, rankings mean something until you get to where you're supposed to get a title shot. And all of a sudden the person that holds the gold is like, nah, I'm gonna go with this guy because although this guy's ranked number 25th in the world, he sells seats. And it's like, yo, I'll kick his ass, or I beat him up in the amateurs several times.
Right.
Why and I'm ranked number 1 in the IBF, the WBO, the WBC. What the fuck? I can't get no, and then what's bad is the fans will support that bullshit before they support what's right.
Exactly.
You understand? And that's what I can't stand.
Well, yeah, you look at like Jake Paul brothers and all that. Like, come on.
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
Like, that's crazy though. That boxing turned into a circus. NBA can't do that. Ain't no clown jumping in the NBA. Some rapper say, "I'm a rapper. I want to play in NBA." That ain't happening. NFL, that ain't happening. Boxing, they let them do whatever. So like, boxing, man, is the clown show. Like, it fell off the face of the earth. I love boxing, but people be upset when I say boxing dead. It's dead. Like, come on. You let these clowns get in the game, even at the amateur level, this ain't the same no more.
It sure ain't.
Yeah, it's all bad. Marco,
What's up?
What you got on the topic, bro?
I mean, I think he said it all. I think he laid it out pretty well. I liked this kind of off the topic, but on the topic. Fedora, how do you pronounce his last name?
Fundora. Yeah.
Fundora. I was very impressed with him.
Yeah.
Big guy, decent power, good power, real good power. Smart. He seemed like a smart fighter. Cool as shit. And afterwards, the interview, he's likable. I think he's going to give a lot of people in that weight class a lot of problems.
At 54?
Yeah.
How the hell is he making 54? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that's about.
Yeah. No, that's
he won't be.
Wow.
Even though I'm not really fond of the Charlos too much. I like them, but I'm not like they're not my top level guys. I think he'll give Fundora trouble.
Charlo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where that's his next hyenas. That's where he want to go. It's only but right for you to want to go there because there's nobody beneath that you would want to fight. You just beat the number 1 guy that was supposed to be in the spot that you was fighting for that night. You beat him. So now the only thing with that is how long you want to sit around and wait. You know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna make him wait. But how long?
Right. I mean, you look at him, and you
guys ready for me to drop my bombshell on you? Since you went there, I'm gonna. You know me, I have a knack for saying the things that people don't usually appreciate or whatever. But you saw a guy last night that'll whoop the pants off of Fundora, and that was Tony Harrison.
Yeah.
Because he can box, baby. He understands how to control distance. He understands how to put punches together in combination.
Hey guys, I hate to be a spoiler, guys, but I gotta go because I'm getting ready to drive wifey, and I don't want to drive and talk. So I talk to y'all later, man.
All right, I'm gonna talk to you, Ivan.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Ivan. Appreciate you, bro.
The mighty man.
All right.
Go ahead,
Yeah,
Stormy.
Tony Harrison has the ability to do that, like what he did to Garcia last night, to almost anybody in that division. And we understand that he gave Charlo the flux. It's just that his knack for playing around and being a little goofy, it caught up to him, and rightfully so, because you need to know when to take things extremely serious in there. But he's definitely one who could give a fighter like Fundora the business. If you remember from history, we saw this before. It was just in a smaller weight class, and that was with Diego Corrales. Diego Corrales was the same. He was a tall guy, very rangy, but didn't like to use his attributes. He wanted to fight in close all the time. And with guys who decided to comply with that, he was able to bang them up. But when you got a guy that was more heady IQ-wise in Floyd, that's why Floyd made him look very amateurish, because he took him apart took all of his strengths away from him, frustrated the hell out of him, then took him on out of there. Or at least his dad jumped in and said, "Hey, that's it. My son is
That
getting
fight,
dogged
that
too
fight,
bad."
man. Money May. That was Money May at his pure best. That fight,
Well,
man.
see,
He's like
the
magic
thing
in there.
is, like a guy like Fundora is a blueprint to beating, you know, because like you look at what's the kid he fought last night?
Lubin?
Who?
Yeah,
Lubin.
Lubin, yeah.
Lubin,
Now,
yeah.
Lubin got skills, he got talent and all that. But all I see, and I see this so much with these fighters, they all offense. But where was Lubin's defense at? His reflexes. You know, like he's standing in front of the man fighting. Like I fought like like Ivan when we fought in the world champ, I fought a tall Cuban, Juan Hernandez. He's 6'4", 147 pounds.
Whoa.
So, you know, a lot of times, you know, they're gonna tell you, okay, be aggressive. You know, be aggressive and get in his chest and all that, close the distance. But sometimes against these tall guys, and Fundora, because I fought another guy, Rodney Jones. You know, he ended up fighting for the world title. I gave him his first loss as a pro. Rodney Jones. He was a tall southpaw. He was like 6'3", you know. And I look at the way I think both of them fights probably on YouTube. The way I fought those guys, well, the Cuban I lost to, but the first round. But then my corner told me to put the pressure on. Then that's when he started outboxing me. But what I did, I used my speed, my reflexes, because it's all about defense. Like so, when I was boxing, both of them two tall southpaws, I would get my shots off and then I would get out of range. So you know they would tell you, "Oh, don't be on the outside against a long guy." But Fundora, he just coming forward. So you defeating the purpose if you're gonna fight inside with him. Because he got those sneaky uppercuts, and to me, he mechanical. Like you know, he don't have nothing extra with him. He throw good tough punches, you know. But you gotta have defense for that. Like if you look at Pernell Whitaker, he wasn't getting hit. That's why he was able to move up in weight, go all the way up to 154, you know, because his defense, you know. So that's the key in this boxing game. Now, the art of the defense is gone because all these I don't want to, you know, sound like I'm hating on some of these trainers, but
Say it, bud.
when
Go
you got
ahead
an
and put it
athletic
out there,
good
Ross.
kid
Put it out there, man. Put it
no,
out
but when
there.
you got an athletic good kid with great reflexes, you teach him defense. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, me training with Roger, like my dad, he taught me pretty much everything, but my dad didn't really master a certain thing. Like I would say Roger really taught me like that. Like when I started training with Roger, like in the defense, Floyd, that's why Floyd one of the last ones that's why Floyd never lost and he was able to move up in weight because a lot of them guys, they move up in weight and they get outmanned because they just want to slug it out. You know, and that's what that boy Lubin did last night. He banging with he did drop him and all that, but he didn't fight a smart fight because he fought Fundora fight. You know, you got a big guy. When you got the speed advantage, you know, you gotta know how to be crafty in there. You know, and all I can say is Fundora, he could be beat. You know, he looked unbeatable almost most of the time because he's running through guys. You know, but Fundora to me, he's just mechanical. He's just a tall guy, so the height gonna give certain guys problems. And some people can't fight southpaws. You know, but you know, I think Fundora easy to figure out. Really, though, like use your speed, use your reflexes, use your
gets hit a lot.
be defensive. You know,
Those people forgot. We just saw Fundora a fight ago against Garcia, who fought Tony Harrison last night.
Right, that's what I heard on it.
And Garcia gave Fundora fits.
Yep.
Fundora did enough to win, but he gave him fits.
Right.
And Garcia's a wind-up dog. It's like you wind him up in between rounds, and he just goes.
Right.
And everything he throws is with bad intentions, and he has great cardio, and he don't stop.
Right.
Well, and he was about that life on the inside. He was about that inside game. And
you got two styles. So the style, they always say styles make fights. So you had a guy like that Garcia guy who's just gonna swarm you, and then and he tough and he take punches and he don't care about defense. It's gonna be a war, you know, with a Fundora. But then when you take a slick guy, like if you took Pernell Whitaker in his prime. Put him in again, even though Fundora 6, whatever. Pernell, the dude ain't gonna be hitting Pernell.
Nobody can hit Pernell though.
De La Hoya couldn't hit Pernell really that good.
Nobody.
I forgot that Garcia fight was a draw.
Oh, was it?
It was a draw, was it not? Was it a draw? I
Yeah.
forgot. I gotta look that up. Why did he run that back? You see the business? It took him in two different directions, and now he's busting somebody's face up. Whatever, man. But,
I seen that kid out of Cincinnati gave Fundora problems too because he knew how to box a little bit. Jamonte Clark out of Cincinnati.
Yeah,
That boy gave Fundora some problems.
He gets hit a lot when he's in close. You know?
Yeah. Lubin dropped him later in the fight.
Yeah, he did, which is crazy because at that point, Lubin was taking a whooping. You know what I mean?
It was Clark and Fundora. That was the draw. Thank you, Teach.
Right, Jamonte Clark. Oh,
What?
Jamonte Clark. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was just saying. Jamonte Clark gave him a lot of problems. Jamonte Clark, he had a long amateur background. When I seen him fighting him, the kid, I trained Donnie. I was like, Jamonte Clark probably gonna give him some trouble. Donnie, he wanted Fundora to win because that's who beat him. So he's like, I think he gonna. I said, Donnie. Then after the fight, I said, Donnie, I told you, Jamonte Clark got a long amateur background, boy from Cincinnati, he can fight. I said he gonna give that boy some problem. They called that a draw then. Yep.
The reason that Lubin was able to drop the guy was a very simple principle in boxing. You put your punches together in combination. He finally let his hands go, but it's a shame that he let his hands go out of frustration because he was getting pounded on so much. So he just happened to let his hands go. He couldn't miss the guy if he closed his eyes. And as long as he was making contact with each successive punch, Fundora was taking, and he finally broke it through and put him down.
Mm-hmm.
And at that stage, he was too battered himself to do any more. But I'm surprised that Cunningham didn't tell him this earlier in the fight. If you're going to be inside, get your work off and then get out of there.
Get out of there.
Because you can hit the guy, but stop loading up on a single shot thinking that you're just going to clock him and it's going to be over. Because some guys have good punch resistance. Fundora did. But when he's getting hit with 4, 5, 6 of them, okay, now it's like, oh, he's not stopping. Let me go down. You understand?
Yeah.
And that's the difference. But he's also a big guy at 6'6", whatever he is. And if he's going to fight on the inside like he likes to do, because that's lazy, laying on the inside. So you make him pick his feet up. You turn him.
Mm-hmm.
You turn him. You give him angles. Oh, I'm over here. Now you got to step around. You getting ready to throw that uppercut. Oh, let me slip over this side. Pop, 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 pop. Get up out of there. Start over. Come over here. That's why I told you that Tony Harrison would put on a clinic with this kid.
Yeah.
Because he understands that.
Right.
Tony Harrison won the fight so easily last night because he gave Garcia false confidence. Do you know what the false confidence was? That he was retreating to the ropes and that Garcia would be able to open up on him as soon as he got him to the ropes. But then when Garcia got within that certain range, what happened? Snap the head back, the head back. Now you got to start all over and hunt him down again. He's over here now. Now let me walk over here. And in the meantime, pop, pop. You understand? You're getting your head snapped back like he was. And Ross, you're a professional fighter. You know exactly what happens. All that snapping your head back, what happens to your legs and your back and everything when you're getting your head snapped back like that. You could be the toughest guy in the world, but as Mike Tyson once said, and he's very right, tough guys get hurt in this sport. Smart guys prevail.
Yep.
It's real talk.
It's all about that game plan, and then you just got to go out there and live up to the game plan that you came in. You can't lose focus.
Can we talk about the goddamn corner? Because I was thoroughly confused. There was a few things going on. And I don't usually listen to commentary, but it was so obvious that the commentary was picking it up. And I saw something at home, and I thought I was losing my goddamn mind. I was talking with Stormy about this earlier. There was one point where they said put water on his head, and the motherfucker started squeezing an empty bottle over his head. And someone else came and put the goddamn water. I said, what the fuck was that? Then Stormy pointed out, did you notice there was no end swell? He didn't have no end swell. He had a bag of ice on his face. What was that? And then icing on the cake, Lubin didn't help because he was not listening to his goddamn instructions. What was that? What was that? Trick, did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed there wasn't any end swell. And you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
You hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I noticed it wasn't any end swell. And the first thing I thought about was 1990 Mike Tyson versus Buster Douglas. You know, there was no end swell in the corner. And they had like a bag of, ice with the water in it.
Bag of ice?
Nah, it wasn't a bag. It was a glove filled with water.
Yeah,
that was in Mike Tyson's. Yeah.
Yeah.
But last night it was a bag of ice.
Right.
It was like a little Ziploc bag with ice in it.
Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna be surprised that I won't be surprised if him and Kevin, him and his trainer parted ways after this, because you got I'm telling you something and you don't want to listen, and you getting beat up. You know what I'm saying? So Lubin, to me, honestly, he fought a dumb fight last night. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you on the inside with this guy, he's laying on you and he's hitting you with uppercuts. I mean, the dude's what, 6'5", 6'6". He got a little old bitty waist. You know, you on the inside, I mean, easier said than done, but I would have been telling him to go to the body. You know, I want to listen to the commentary because I had it down. I got time to listen to that Mauro Ravello, whatever his name is, but he get on my nerves, man. So I had to cut it down. I didn't want to hear his mouth. So yeah, he's horrible, man. I just don't want to hear all that. But he should have been going to the body, in my opinion. And I'm gonna tell y'all something too. You know, and Ross and Stormy and Mark, I don't know, Drew, you could probably relate, but he reminds me, Fondora reminds me of Cesar Bazan. Y'all remember him?
Yes.
Cesar Bazan.
Yeah, remember Cesar Bazan? He fought tall. Yeah, fought Stevie Johnston.
Oh, okay.
Fight on the inside and on the outside, and he could move his head. You know, unlike Fondora, this guy can move his head, and I mean he could punch on the inside. So that's what
Fondora ain't gonna never
reminds
move his head.
I don't know if you know. Right, yeah, I don't think he'll move his head either. He's easy to get hit. But I agree with Stormy. I think somebody like Tony Harrison will give him a clear boxing lesson.
Yeah, I don't know how much Harrison got left, but it's possible. But you know, Harrison, he definitely looked good last night, and I was impressed with what he was doing.
He did.
He was walking that guy.
For a style like what Harrison has, he needs that type of guy. He had one last night in Garcia. Remember, the two guys just fought each other in the fight before, and it was a close fight between the two, Garcia and Fondora. So,
but Fondora like a different way about it, because we call him shorter. He's not a different way. He's just a taller guy. The thing about it is, he doesn't want to fight you unless you're close to him. Right. He doesn't want to jab at you. He doesn't want to set you up and get you in a place for a trap where he can drop some heat on you and everything. That's not his MO, which is why Lubin looked even more stupid out there going in where the guy was at his best. Right.
Early in the fight, in the first round, Lubin was on the outside. He shot a couple of jabs to the body, pounding him in the face and everything. I'm like, okay, that's cool. He's at distance.
Mm-hmm.
Then before the round is over, he's laying on the inside. Why? And he found himself on his ass in the very first round. When I saw that, I knew it was just a matter of time. Because you go out there, you said going in, you had a game plan. I was like, okay, let's see what his game plan is. And you're on your ass before the end of the first round due to you doing exactly what you weren't supposed to do at all. Maybe there would be some moments in the fight where you do have to go and take it to him but in the first round, and he was hurt. He's lucky that the bell came shortly after the count and everything because he was actually hurt. And it's like, okay, where is the ring IQ now? That had nothing to do with Cunningham. That had everything to do with Lubin.
Yeah.
And so then after that, you're still languishing on the inside, and now you're taking these shots over and over and over. Just like Marco said a moment ago, he ain't going to move his head, meaning Fundora. No, and Lubin ain't either. That's why he got knocked out. Fundora's not going to move his head because ain't nobody made him move his head.
Right.
And a skilled veteran fighter who knows how to fight, knows how to use angles, like Harrison, will do that. See, you got a fighter in Jamel Charlo who's a decent boxer. He could really box. Then he went on a streak of knocking people out and everything. But he has one flaw that can make it easy for a guy like Fundora. And I'd like to swing this question around to everybody on this panel. What is the one flaw that Mel has that would allow Fundora to have victory over him? I want to see the boxing IQ of you gentlemen on here.
Go ahead, Drew. It's all you.
What is the one flaw that you said Jamel have?
That would make it where Fundora will have victory over him.
Well, shit. First and foremost, not listen to his goddamn corner and if he don't keep his head off that goddamn straight line, he need to get his head off that straight line. All right, that's what I could see. Because Fundora,
Trey, you go ahead.
All right, well, go ahead.
My problem with Jamel, and just looking at his last fight, if he fight, just put it away, staying on the ropes. You know what I'm saying? He got the athletic ability to give move around and box Fundora. But if he stay on the ropes like he did in the Castano fight and catch them uppercuts and not listen to Derrick James, man, he might be out of there. You know, he got a great chin, but you can't get hit all night with uppercuts like that. So that's my take on that.
What about you, Ross? What do you think?
Oh, for me, it ain't even just Charlo. Like any fighter that get in there with Fundora, if you ain't using that upper body movement, you ain't moving that upper body, he gonna tag you. You gotta be smart. You gotta throw feints at him. You gotta throw him off. You gotta keep that head moving. Because you know that man come in with punches. So he gonna be coming. And see, that uppercut is sneaky too. So a lot of good defensive fighters, the uppercut be the one, you know, you like, damn, you get caught with that one. You know,
Marco.
That awareness is big. Being aware and looking for the punches. You gotta look.
So far, you're dancing around it. I want to hear what Marco got to say. Marco, go ahead.
I mean, I'm kind of seconding what Anthony said. I think his propensity to lay on the ropes, you know, that's going to be his downfall if he just lays on the ropes like that, as opposed to moving.
No.
Go ahead,
remember, I told you I'll make it very simple for you. He gets too emotional. He gets too emotional.
Emotional damage.
There you go. And
that's a little more personal. That's his own personal problem outside of boxing.
It's his personal problem outside of boxing, but it's his personal problem inside of boxing.
Right, and it lead to the personal problem inside.
Remember the loss to Harrison.
Yes.
And remember the rematch where Harrison was still doing very well, right? No, but see, he doesn't fight with his emotions in check. He still is wearing his emotions on the sleeve during a fight. You just have to know what to do to set him off. The guy is his own worst enemy, and it's amazing that the people who are competing with him haven't figured that crap out yet. Castano figured it out in a physical sense because remember in the round where he kind of hurt Castano, right? And he thought, okay, this is going to be my moment. And then in the very next round, Castano come out and hurt him. The fight changed. You see, when a person is emotional, remember, Custody Amato used to talk about this a lot, right? Controlling your emotions. You have to have them in check. If you can control your emotions and keep yourself in check, you can think clearly under chaos. But someone has to present the chaos.
Yeah.
Fundora can do that just alone by being the object that he is, the height, the reach, and everything. And the funniest part about it is he's not even using that. And people get drawn in to what he does best.
That is, it makes me cringe when I see guys that gifted physically. Not maybe I'm spoiled, but when I grew up, once I watched Tommy Hearns, in my mind I said, okay, when you're tall and lanky like that, you have to use a jab. I mean, it's like etched in stone, and it makes me crazy when I see guys like that like to fight on the inside. Look, we know he can fight on the inside, but I want to see someone pop him so hard where it's like, you know what, now I got to show him something different. Then he starts popping out a jab. I mean, he's like Dawson from fucking Street Fighter. He can hit you from across the board. I mean, come on,
Yoga,
dude.
yoga
flame. So, I mean, we know he can fight on the inside. That's great.
Oh,
but I want to see him get a different look. I thought we had it last night when Lubin dropped him. I said, okay, let's see if he's hurt enough to where he has to do something else. But he got his marbles back, and I guess he showed a great chin, I guess, if you want to say that. And he's right up there now, so he's ranked high enough. He's gonna get the winner of Castano versus Jamel. But Stormy, you're right. If Jamel wins, because he got to beat Castano, if he wins, it's the easy thing to say that Jamel will give. He won't do what Lubin did. First of all, not listen to the corner. That's number one. Jamel listens to the corner. Second of all, he's going to have to keep those emotions under control. If he can do that, he can outbox this kid and potentially knock him out, because now we've seen him get touched by a hurt Erickson Lubin. We've seen him get touched. The coaching out of the corner, he was saying everything right, but the corner was still fucked up mechanically. A bag of ice for that swelling? How the hell did his face get that beat up, moving? What the fuck? No end swell?
yeah.
They did, like I said, I forget which round it is, but they went to Porter. Well, he said, let me get some water on the head, and he's squirting an empty bottle over his head. I said, what are they doing? Was that a joke? It's not funny. There was a lot of disarray in that corner that, like, if you don't know how a corner's supposed to work, you ain't gonna pick up on it. Like, way back, we didn't realize how fucked up Mike Tyson's corner was against Buster Douglas. You didn't realize it in real time because you're so caught up in the moment. And then when you go back and say, why is there a rubber glove with cold water leaning on Mike's face? What's going on in that corner? So there was a lot of foul shit going on in that corner. A bag of ice on his face? What? There was something that with him not listening to the instructions. He told him, step over, the left hand is there. And eventually what he hurt him with. This guy did not listen to his corner, man. He took himself out of that fight. All they had to do is box this guy. He likes to fight on the inside. He's making it easy. I sent him on Instagram. I said, chop down that tree. You understand? I sent it to him on Instagram. All that body's right there. He should have just abandoned the head for a minute. Abandoned the head for about 6 or 7 rounds. And then when you beat it up enough, then bring it up top. But
when he got in close to Fundora, he was throwing his heat, but he was only throwing it singularities. He wasn't putting them together. And he wasn't really banging with the heat in the places where he was supposed to. Punch placement is very important.
Stop doing cardio. This sounds bad.
What was that?
Did you guys talk about the Ryan Garcia fight yet or no?
Nah, we gonna get there in a second.
What was that?
What was that?
Wasn't me.
Trick, was that you? Did you hear that?
Yeah, my fault, man. I was cutting my phone down. It was a commercial. It was a commercial, and I was cutting my phone down. I'm sorry about that, man. My fault.
What I was trying to say, he didn't throw
Wasn't a dirty
his
commercial.
punch placement wasn't as important as it could have been. If he had been really looking to break this kid in half, because you can't miss him, all that length and everything. And the great part about it is this: he doesn't box, so you'll have your moments, but you can't languish on the inside. You have to do that, get that work in, get out on an angle, and make him pick his feet up to come after you some more. That's mental pressure within itself, because he has to reset. When you reset, but you're getting hit, you're getting damaged, but you have to reset. That starts frustration. It starts you to think about, what can I do, or whatever. And then even if he decides to start going to the jab, it's not something that he's comfortable doing. It's not. Who have we seen him really stand on the outside and punish with the jab and keep him at range and all of that? He doesn't do that.
He's a robot.
Yeah.
Pretty much a robot.
Yeah.
He's a robot.
He's
a machine, a punching machine.
If he adds that, he'll be very dangerous.
A Mexican version of Paul Williams.
He's gonna be dangerous because a lot of fighters don't move their head. A lot of fighters don't think about defense.
There you go.
You got, like, the old school boxing was like a James Toney. Like, his defense set up his offense.
Oh, he wouldn't have touched James.
Right.
He wouldn't
His
have touched
defense
James
set up his offense. James Toney thought defense first, then offense right behind that. And these guys not doing that. These young fighters now, they just all offense. You know.
See, when Lubin was on the inside with him, Lubin was trying to trade to the head. Where was the working around the elbows and coming up to the breadbasket and in the pit of the stomach? Where was that work at? Because if you're putting in that work in the right way, those hands come down. Then you open up with the combinations up top. But it's work. This is like when he said, leading up to the fight at all the press conferences and interviews, he's like, we got a game plan. We got a game plan. Once the fight started, where was the damn game plan at?
To get
The things that I'm saying right now, all of you know these things. I'm not, Nostradamus. It's like these things are evident. This is how you win a fight. But he didn't put any of that together to win the fight. But he sure as hell went in there and gave that guy as many shots at banging him as he could have. And that's why he lost the fight.
I think the biggest problem is, man, a lot of these guys, they want to fight like Floyd, so, but they fight like the old Floyd. When they be 22 years old, fighting like the 32-year-old Floyd. A lot of these guys, like Adrian Broner was a perfect example of that. So that changed the game. Everybody went, like I remember Roger Mayweather used to tell us, me and Floyd was young guys at the time together. He used to tell us, fight with your youth while you got it. He's like, that youth ain't gonna last long. But he said, to further keep your career. And that's why Floyd lasted so long, because Floyd, when he got old, he knew how to fight old. But these 22, 19-year-olds trying to fight like old Floyd. I tell them, go watch the 22-year-old Floyd who's throwing combinations, fighting Diego and
Pretty
all
boy.
those guys.
Pretty boy, there's Money Mayweather.
Right, exactly. Pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
I tell kids that I train, I said, watch Pretty Boy. Don't be watching Money Mayweather.
Yep.
Watch Pretty Boy, because you 22 years old. Roger used to always tell us. I inspired Roger when I was a kid. He's like, yeah, you got all that youth. But he used to like slow me down. Like, he knew how to, because I had speed, throwing them combinations and all that. Roger knew how to like bring the pace down for me. And I couldn't hit him. I used to get frustrated, So that's the thing. Like, when you get older, you got to fight old. When you're young, and Roger used to always tell me, that's why I always say Roger knows his shit. He was a mentor to me. He always told me people like Sugar Ray Leonard, Muhammad Ali even, he would say, well, they still, when they got old, reason why they got old overnight, like Sugar Ray shouldn't have got knocked out by Camacho. Ali should have never lost to Leon Spinks. He said because they still was trying to fight like they was young. They never adjusted to fighting like an old man, be a little more crafty. They were still trying to train and fight like a 22-year-old, and they was 35 and, all that, So That's what these guys got to do. Like, they got to learn the difference. And then, that's why Floyd's career lasted so long. He stayed undefeated, and he can still fight now. Just think, he 40-something. He's still getting the ring, because he listened to all that, and it's true.
It's fighting.
Because you look at Sugar Ray Leonard, he didn't have no business losing to Camacho. Right, and Ali had no business losing somebody like Leon Spinks. They struggled at the end of their career. That's why Floyd can say, I got all my faculties. I ain't one of them boxers who end up punchy. Because Floyd didn't take a lot of damage, So that's just what it is, man. The boxing game messed up because no teachers no more. There's no teachers. And I can say I was trained by some of the best teachers. Eddie Futch, Slim Robinson, Roger, Tommy Parks, like old school. And see, there's a lot of these newer trainers, they strength and conditioning coaches. That's all they pretty much be. Like, it's good to have that. I believe in that, though, but you need a teacher. A lot of these guys, they get guys in good shape. And so they worry about, we're going to throw punches and we're going to win and we're going to do this. But what about the technique, the technical aspect of boxing? Like, that's where America kind of losing. And that's when, I remember they were saying, well, America's losing out to Russia and Cuba at the amateurs, Olympics and all that. Because we used to dominate the amateur, always get 3, 4, 5 gold medals. Now we getting what? 1 maybe? Or none? A bunch of silvers and bronze? So boxing, man, it just they lost where it was, when we was dominating the sport. We're not dominating the sport no more, And that's why a lot of the Europeans came over and took over,
Yeah, well, there was a strategy behind that. Well, let me get to the super chat real quick. Mr. Gumbo, he says salute to the great panel, Drew, and get Lubin's name right, Glass Joe. Damn. Damn. They pulling out the punch out on people.
Yeah, but I don't think he was really Glass Joe because he took some punches. That boy was taking some shots.
It was unnecessary. That's what's driving me crazy about it, though,
because
man.
His defense wasn't on point.
How many uppercuts did he? I lost count. I saw the count at one point.
Did he break his jaw?
In a row, like 4 in a row? I'm like, what is he doing?
Somebody said his jaw was broke. Y'all know anything about that?
His jaw was broke. He looked like he had a fracture around like the bridge of the nose. He looked fucked up, man. I got a picture. It's ugly, man. It's ugly, and it didn't need to happen. What the hell is he doing?
Right.
See, now I agree with Trick. As a trainer, do you want to coach somebody that don't fucking listen? That's going to ruin your name. Because I know Erickson didn't do what he was being told. I know that. I saw that. And after the fight, someone's throwing ice at him and shit. I mean, it was a train wreck. I mean, come on, goddamn it. That was crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely bad in there.
Jay said a broken nose, separated shoulder. Oh, man. A broken nose and a separated shoulder. How the hell you separate his shoulder? Look, man. As far as the European invasion is concerned, it's like the Beatles in the 60s. They were okay, but they weren't American. That's the type of time I'm on, man. But I think, Ross, you still there? Screen went blank. I'll let him work that out.
You know what Ali said about the Beatles?
What did he say?
When he took the photo session with them, and they was in his Florida gym and everything, and the media had brought them in, and Ali was like, "Oh, okay," and these guys, he knew singing group from England, and so Ali said, "Oh yeah, I'll take some pictures with the guys," and they were on Life magazine and all of that, right? Ali throwing the punch and knocking all of them sideways and all of that. When they left the gym, Ali turned to his people and said, "Who were those faggots?"
Oh shoot!
That's a quote. That's an exact quote.
Yeah. Back in the day.
Damn.
He didn't even know who they were.
Oh
wow. That's funny.
Damn.
Yeah, he told that. Well, it's been told. The story has been told before, but it's so funny because that was his innocence. Coming out. It's like Ali was. He was something else.
Cold.
It takes Scrapbook to tell you about that story and some more because we often laugh about it. But yeah, that's exactly. Everybody knew who the Beatles was, but Ali, he didn't know who they were.
Who those faggots? Who the Palmer who? Palmer John who? John Lemon. What the hell's a John Lemon? I'm the greatest. What the hell is a John Lemon?
That was good.
Oh man.
That was good.
Let me stop before Captain Crunch come for me again. Oh, what you're saying is it's derogatory towards the gay and lesbian community. Fuck up. Anyway, let's talk about Ryan Garcia. I just want to get this out the way. Fuck that guy. Next.
You don't like Garcia?
Hey,
Nah, I ain't fucking with that kid. I'll talk about this more tomorrow. But shout out to Blue Blood. If y'all saw his video earlier, and I trust Blue Blood is a reliable source, y'all. Just as reliable as Boxing Scene or World Boxing News. Blue Blood did a video today. Y'all go to this page and check it out. Ron Garcia admits that Tank and Devin Haney were never on the menu. He said he did it for publicity. He said that. Do I need to go any further about Ryan?
Yeah, let's talk about his fight last night a little bit. I don't mind talking about it.
Go ahead, Scott.
Because first of all, for him being off for as long as he was and due to everything that happened that led to him not fighting, and then he talking about dealing with mental issues and stuff of that nature.
The fuck is Ron Garcia? Who that faggot?
Anyway, I felt like I wanted to see how he was going to perform. And the first thing I noticed, of course, is like, okay, the kid is all tatted up now. That don't make you a tough guy, being tatted up, okay? It just means you got some body art. But he came out against a much smaller opponent. It was amazing to see how much bigger he was than to go when the fight started. But to go didn't cooperate. He didn't stand there and let Ryan pound him. He didn't offer up his chin recklessly or whatever. And he put Ryan in a position where Ryan was going to have to show something else. And he failed miserably at that. The best thing that happened out of that fight for Ryan last night is he got rounds under his belt, professional rounds, but seeing that each and every round was pretty much a repeat of the previous, he has a lot of things he needs to work on at the professional level of sports. Now, when he was in amateurs, you got, shorter limits and everything, and that's one. But in a 3-round scheduled for 10, scheduled for 12 type fight, you have to be able to do certain things within the 3 minutes. And all he was doing was throwing power shots, trying to land against somebody who was mobile and could get away from him. He didn't cut the ring off well. He didn't work behind a jab. He looked like a dude who was new at this, fighting against a smaller guy. And I'm surprised because Joe Goosen didn't help. And he didn't have enough of instruction, direction to give Ryan blueprint after, because you could figure after 3 or 4 rounds, okay, you can kind of see how this is going to go unless Tago gives himself up and lets him pound him. And then it got to a point like by round 9, you could see that Tago was like trying to punch back in instances and stuff. And it's like, but he was just a smaller guy and couldn't get that range and but a more adept fighter is going to give Ryan all kinds of problems. Right now, I equate him with Ali Walsh. They're the same.
Oh man.
They're the same. And listen, I hear your response, Drew, but they're the same. Because Ali Walsh, he ain't gonna be a championship caliber fighter. He's not. But Ryan has more behind him, right? It's like the push and all of that. But he's the same kind of person, same kind of right now, a novelty amongst where there are real gritty fighters out there. And that's the worst part of it all. People need to know what they're looking at. And when you say it for what it is, yeah, you might make some people angry and things like that. But what I like to say is prove me wrong.
Stormy, you talking about my grandson? Why you talking bad about my grandson? I'm gonna poison you with decon. So they could set up Ali Walsh versus Ryan, and they could sell it. They could sell it.
Novelty act.
One thing I noticed with Ryan, which I didn't realize, so his hooks very hard, very fast, but his overhand right was this weird, choppy kind of no leverage, almost like a sloppy overhand right. He didn't really know how to throw it. Did you guys see? You know what I'm talking about? It was weird.
Everyone's trying to throw that triple G overhead, hook, and that's just something that Triple G so happens to specialize in.
His was a right, punch, but it was like a.
It was a pawing.
It was almost a slap, and he would punch down, but two
cat paw.
Down.
It's hard. I'm sorry, and this is the bias in me. It's hard for me to give Ryan Garcia any credit at this point. It's very difficult. I'm just gonna be honest. I don't appreciate the kid at all. All right, he's gonna have to show. So he's a boxer now. All I'm saying is change my mind, because this was a year of bullshit, and through all the bullshit, everyone put him on a pedestal, and he's been on this pedestal, and then you come out. What weight is he fighting at now? Because I don't get it. What is he? 130? Is he at 135? Is he at 130?
They were just under 140 pounds when they weighed in for this fight.
So where's he campaigning at? 140 or 135? I'm confused.
We don't know, because he rehydrated way up above that. So
yeah. See, I don't know about the kid, and then come to find out, all of that with Tank and Haney and Manny Pacquiao, it was one big pump fake, like we've been saying. And these are the reasons why we said we don't want the kid around until he decides to get in the ring. But meanwhile, you talk to people outside, they had him in the ring with all these top guys, and we was like, yo, pump your damn brakes. It doesn't make sense. Salute the phenomenal Mexican in that super chat. He said Ryan looked shocked when two gold plate fought back. He called it a gold plate. Yeah, I mean, he did. He did,
ain't no
man.
good.
He probably looked even more like he wanted to go back to the corner and tell Goosen, hey, he's not playing fair. He's not laying down. You know?
Yeah, right? Right? Shit, man.
Oh, yeah. Goes to and you know what? And let me say this about Ryan Garcia. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I'm going to say this about Ryan Garcia. If you notice, he don't have a right hand. So I remember I saw him working out with Oscar De La Hoya one time, and De La Hoya never had a right hand. So that's kind of rubbing off on him. Because Oscar, all he had was a left hook, and Oscar would throw that hook. He wouldn't throw it conventional. He'd throw it like Razor Ruddock would throw his hook. What you call it? It's the hybrid hook. But that's all Ryan Garcia has is a hook. That's it.
Well, see, the difference between the two, though, is Trick is that De La Hoya was a converted southpaw, though. That's true, yeah. That's why his left hook was so strong. And he was able to maximize his offense by getting better with the jab. De La Hoya had a snapping jab. His jab was very strong. As he worked with a couple of different trainers after he got away from, what was his name, Garcia, and started working with other trainers, he began to get even better with the jab because they were telling him things that he could get away with that jab, going up and down, using it to block shots and stuff like that. So working with multiple trainers benefited De La Hoya to a certain degree in his career because he was always able to box. He was always able to set that left hook up because, again, that being a converted southpaw, you can unleash that. But see, Ryan, he just found that he could hit hard with the left hook, and he has fast twitch muscles enough to release it quickly. But against good fighters, they could see that stuff coming all day long. That's why Luke Campbell nailed him. But at the same time, just think, Luke Campbell was not a puncher, but he was definitely a decorated amateur fighter and a decent pro fighter. So it's like, that's what happens. That's what happens. And you can, a pro fighter can expose you just like that. They don't even have to be the best of them. All they have to have is the experience.
I think Ryan is to me, he's still a marketing scheme. He has some ability, but he's more concerned with the shine than he is with actually making a career of it. And I find people should find it offensive when they try and put him in the category as Oscar De La Hoya. The difference between Oscar and him is that Oscar, I mean, we clown him now, but Oscar was a fighter, goddammit. Oscar's a Hall of Fame fighter. Yeah. I'll never take that away from him. Oscar was a fucking warrior. He could fight. Now Ryan, he has an incomplete report card, and he like legitimately just started. And he's playing around on Instagram and social media, and then come to find out, like we said, it was all bullshit. So I don't even want to talk about this kid until he actually gets in the ring. When he's in a position where it's like, all right, this guy right here has a belt. There's no other direction to go but him. You got to take that fight, man. Because right now, you're not in a league with a Tank. You're not in a league with a Devin Haney. And they run around lying saying he stopped Devin Haney twice in the amateurs. We use the internet for what it's for. We looked it up. Y'all split. You didn't stop him. What the fuck are you? Stop lying, dude. Lying Ryan. Cut it out, man. Salute the Phenomenal Mexican. He says, Lion Ryan gets put to sleep by Rolly the retard. And you know what? That's a damn good fight. Rolly versus Ryan. Their sparring session, I believe, is on YouTube. Is it him and Rolly?
Yeah.
They had a sparring session. And Rolly wasn't getting service. He wasn't getting served in that fight. He was holding his own. So I don't know. So we're going to have to see. Let's move on to I want to talk about the Tony Harrison versus Garcia fight. For those of you that don't know, Garcia, he just fought Fundora and gave Fundora fits. Gave him a lot of fits. And Tony Harrison went in there and boxed his face in. I didn't understand what they were saying in the corner, but the translator, from what the translator was saying, there was no strategy. They were all out of tricks. There was nothing he could do. And I was telling Stormy earlier, it was shades of listening to the translation when it was Meldrew Taylor versus Cesar Chavez. It was just like, yo, just do it for your family. There was no strategy. Just go out there and just do it. Just hit him. Just hit him. There was no strategy. And shout out to Garcia. He's a warrior. He's a wind-up dog. He has great cardio. Man. I know it was a turnaround fight, but he didn't look like he was getting tired. That guy was swinging for the fences, and he was missing punches and getting picked off. Tony Harrison looked so good fighting off the ropes. So those corners said, don't be. And you see, here's the thing. He could have fought off the ropes all night, but his corner said, don't do that. And he listened. And like I said, Larry Holmes possessed him last night. That jab was working last night, man. That jab was working last night. The head movement was there. The stick was in his face, and Garcia couldn't do nothing with him. And salute to Tony, because he said, "Man, it's no malice. He'll be in my camp next fight," meaning he'll give Garcia some work. Class act that guy is, man. So I'm interested to see what happens next with Tony. Marco, what are your thoughts on that?
You know, to be honest, I actually didn't catch that one.
You didn't catch it?
Nah, I watched Garcia and then I watched the Lubin fight. I was flipping between those two. Yeah, I didn't see that one. So
yeah, it should be up by now. But that was a great performance. And what you got on that?
Yeah, from what I saw, I caught like the last 3 rounds, I think, because I was kind of between that and UFC and watching Family Feud, man. So that's what Family Feud. But from what I saw, man, he was put on a masterful clinic. I mean, and honestly, man, I think Tony Harrison might be the best boxer in 154-pound division. I mean, with the jab, the movement, I think he might be the best boxer at 154 pounds. But from what I saw, man, he put a master a clinic on yesterday. But I'm gonna go back and check the rest of the fight out though. But I caught like the last 3-4 rounds, I believe. But and he was funny in the post-fight interview, man. So it's good for him. Good boxing got a guy like that can go out there and win a fight and then come out there, you entertain us with the fight and then come back out and entertain us with his post comments, man. He's a good guy, and I've been talking with him on Facebook and stuff too. So hopefully I try to land and get him on the show.
Oh hell yeah! If you saw a couple of rounds, you saw the whole fight because Garcia didn't land a thing. He didn't land anything significant that I recall. I had it a wash. I think one of the scores was 91 to 100. 2 of the judges had it 90 to 100. It was crazy. Stormy, your thoughts?
Well, to reiterate, he boxed like the Dickens, as I like to say. The only thing that I would be more critical of is that he could have mixed in a few more body shots to slow Garcia down, but he was so can't miss up top. He did fall in love with it, but more body punches would have taken steam out of Garcia, so Garcia wouldn't be such an Energizer bunny through the later portion of the fight. This is why you got to get that kind of work in early, and it's all about punch placement, because I'm going to tell you something. If you could be the toughest guy, right? But somebody hits you in the body the right way, dude, some people lose their bowels on that.
Yeah, I know.
Seriously, it happens. Drew, you bounced before. You know these things of which I speak. So a guy, punch placement is so important, man. There's a soft spot right behind the elbow that you tuck to try to protect yourself. That when guys, and that's why I love to watch Mickey Ward, because Mickey Ward, for as tough a man as he was always so slick and slewful with that double hook. He throw one up top because that he's got a damn good left hook, but he'll always make you forget about that damn liver shot because you trying to guard your jaw, and he throw it double shot, boop, bam, and the one where he got that knockout over in the UK, man, you would have thought he knocked that guy's body. It was an amazing shot. But again, when someone has worked that, and he was an artist with it, he did, and I love that. I love to see that from fighters. But the way Tony was snapping his head back, making him pick his feet up to come after him. I talk about that all the time. Guys who want to come and get you. You draw a line in the sand and you say, okay, this is the line of discipline. Once you cross that, there's hell to pay. And when they get that and you learn and you figured out that range, you make them pay each and every time. And a subtle movement with a step to the left or right or half a step back to make them reset, it's all home cooking, because you do that enough and the guy becomes hesitant. He's thinking before reacting, And once you got him thinking, that's when you can play with him. That's when you can start doing other things. And Tony was doing this little thing I told you earlier. He was pushing that shoulder slightly. A couple times the referee said no pushing.
Yeah.
He was subtle with it enough that it made Garcia those couple of steps back that he take, and he got to reset. Then he boom catch that jab to the jaw, that double jab. Beautiful stuff. Beautiful stuff.
When Tony hit Garcia several times, you know what the funniest shit is? When they got that Pert Plus good head bounce, that shit start going crazy. Man, that shit was funny. I was like, damn, his hair made the punch funny. But salute to Tony, man. Y'all want to talk about Triple G?
Yeah, why not?
Let's do it. Okay.
You wanna?
Let me get a squeegee. Let me get a squeegee to wipe my screen here because it's gonna be soap suds all over my screen because he's so washed up.
Oh man, okay. Triple G, listen. He won.
He's using palm olive.
He won, but he's done.
Yeah, he's
He
done.
won,
Man.
but he's done. Okay,
Stick a fork in that dude, bro.
He's gonna get the Canelo fight now. If Canelo gets past Bivol, like that's not gonna happen. But whatever. But Canelo this time, he's gonna fuck him up, man. And don't get me. Listen. Y'all know I'm not a Triple G guy, but leading up to the Canelo Triple G situation, I was a Canelo guy. And then y'all know the history. He started dropping the belts and doing all this funny shit and then popping dirty. And then that's what made me distance myself. But I'm going to call it how I see it. Canelo, if that fight happens, Canelo's going to beat him bad. He's going to stop him this time.
It's going to be highlight reel proportions. Watch.
Yep. And they're gonna. You would think they're gonna take this third fight, and you would think that it was fresh. And this was the old Triple G from 7 years ago. That's how they're going to paint it.
Yep.
But I'm telling you guys, that Murata fight, if that happened 7 years ago, he beats Murata like a drum and gets him out of there in like 1 or 2 rounds.
Yeah,
Triple G
Murata doesn't go 4 rounds with him. If
not at all.
Several years ago.
And Triple G is simply a senior citizen in the game now. That's just it. He didn't age overnight. He literally aged 7 years, literally. And you see it. He's thinning. He's losing his hair and shit.
And don't forget Drew, the extensive amateur career he had. How many fights he had? Like 300 fights or something.
Those guys stay over there in that system, the European system over there, until they're like 30 years old, man. And then they beating up 16-year-old kids, and then they get celebrated for having 1,000 amateur. That's what we were saying about Lomachenko. Why do you think that's a major marketing point when they come here? Lomachenko's great. Triple G's great. And one of the things they say is they're like Olympic competitors or Olympic medalists. Or, well, on top of that, they say 1,000 amateur fights. And y'all remember the Andre Ward argument? We was like, yo, well, Ward beats him. Oh, well, Ward's not active. Then I would say he just won a Super 6. Oh, well, that was a long time ago. Well, Triple G's 1 million amateur fights was before the Super 6. So what kind of fan are you? What are you talking about? Nothing makes sense anymore. But what I do know is Triple G gets in the ring with Canelo a third time. Canelo stops him in 6 rounds. And it's going to be an ugly stoppage. You're going to see Triple G is going to be, this is going to be the first time he's actually going to get hurt to the point where he's going to have to take a strategic knee or get knocked on his ass, and he's not going to know what to do. He's going to try and clinch, and Canelo's going to eat him alive. And that's going to be like the best win of his career. It's going to be highlight reel, knockout of the year, and he's going to be the only guy to stop Gennady Golovkin. And we're going to forget about all the shit leading up to it. When was the last time they fought? How many years it's been? 3 years?
It's been like 4 years ago.
3 or 4 years? Okay, We're going to forget about that. We're going to forget about the drug testing. They're not going to talk about none of that shit. All right? We're going to forget about all of that. But the trilogy, the icing on the cake. Viva Mexico.
Did you see his physical responses to Murata's body shots early in the fight?
Oh, Murata stopped the train for a minute.
Dude, let me tell you something. If you don't think that Canelo saw that, because that's his home cooking, Canelo. And I have to admit that as a professional fighter, Canelo's got some of the best feints for where he places his punches in the game. He can make it look like he getting ready to come up top and go down low. He can make it look like he's going down low and come up top. He's got some really good feints when it comes to that. And he's gonna unleash all of that on Triple G. And the funny part about it is, with that type of work early in the fight, because Triple G was blowing by round 2, man.
Oh, he was tired. He got through this fight off a heart. By the second round, his mouth was open, man.
Yeah, he was blowing, bro. And it's going to be almost a year before they fight. So it's like, what weight is it going to be at? Is it going to be a catch weight? Man, Canelo don't fool me, bro. This was the plan the whole freaking time, to stretch this man out, because that's going to be his Floyd Mayweather victory. That's what it's going to be. Triple G is such a dummy for allowing himself to be sacrificed like this. He could have lost to a guy like Charlo or Andrade or one of the other guys, even a Benavidez or something, fighting in a good quality, high caliber fight amongst the peers. But see, I think where he went wrong was, he and Canelo had a history of being in the gym together, so they kind of sparred a little bit. I think that he realized he attached himself to Canelo simply because Canelo could make a huge money fight for him, but he didn't have to worry about getting stopped.
Right.
See, that's the thing. He always knew he was strong enough that even if Canelo outpointed him, he's not going to be able to stop him. So I'll fight him. I'll fight him 2-3 times. Well, this is the thing. Canelo people stretch that stuff out. He don't know it. I know it. They don't wait till the guy, because remember, you look at when they fought last. If they were going to do a trilogy, the trilogy should have happened within 2 or 3 years. Dude, this is more like 4 years, going on 5. So it's like how much depleted he is, and he hasn't been active, and he's looked horrible in his last 3 fights.
Yes.
His dissension is going like this. You see? And this is all set up. They're just sitting back. And I'm gonna tell you something. Bibble is on the take. I'm almost absolutely certain of it now. He's on the take. He's gonna take a bag just like Kovalev did, because they shady like that. And
you know what I hope for, Stormy? You know what I hope for? And I can't believe, because I'm so not a Triple G guy. And it's no shade to them, but y'all already know how I feel. Lomachenko, Gennady Golovkin, all of these UK guys, they don't need our help promoting, because they put on this pedestal already.
Right.
They don't need my help. All right. But this is going to sound so strange coming from me, because I'm not a Golovkin guy. But don't you kind of hope Golovkin has that Holyfield moment against Mike Tyson type of thing against Canelo? Don't you kind of hope that like something happens and you're like, oh, well, now, like, for instance, I always said Evander could get off the couch and whoop Mike's ass. I always said that, and people thought I was crazy, and it happened. But no one is sold that Gennady could beat Canelo. But aren't you hoping a situation like, okay, like he gets up for that one fight and Gennady turns back the clock 10 years, shows up, and it's like boom, 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 and it's round 8, Canelo's comfortably ahead, and bing! Oh, shit, he's on wobbly. Oh!
That'd be nice.
Yeah.
Can he beat the count? You know, and it's like, what? Aren't you kind of like hoping something like that does happen since he's doing this shit? Because we all see the play. We all see the play. And I mean, Canelo, he could do what he wants. He told us, I do what I want. I wait 4 or 5 years. If this is, and believe me when I tell you, this is Gennady Golovkin's last fight out. I personally said in my video, look, fuck Canelo. Go do something he didn't do. Go fight Andre. Go fight Charlo. None of those fights work out for you. But when you go out on your sword like that, just flip Canelo the bird and say, yo, look, man, I just did something you refused to do. Because you's a sucker, and leave on that note. I'll be good with that. Yeah. I'll give Gennady Golovkin a ton of respect for that, but that's wishful thinking. That's just me. Yep. He's gonna go fight the Canelo fight because that's the biggest payday, and he got a chip on his shoulder. Canelo gets on his nerves. I mean, I think he genuinely don't like him. He gets on his fucking nerves.
Check this out. Votes UK question in the chat says, man, I hope Bibble don't do that, Stormy B, man, but you could be right. Look at it like this. Who is Bibble in boxing right now? What type of name does he have? What type of respect or lack of respect does he have? Notoriety, whatever. None. Nothing really. We know him because we follow the sport. But then when you look at Artur Beterbiev and you see that man is a killer, and it's like you kind of know that there are levels to this, right? And so and then even Joe Smith, right? It's like has more of a presence in the sport. But Canelo didn't pick Joe Smith. He didn't pick Beterbiev. He picked Bivol. Now, why is that? Yeah, Bivol is another champion. He's a bigger man. But what does he have in common with Kovalev? I'll wait. And then you look at what's happening in the world right now. I'll wait.
Oh, man.
And then you look at who's a perceived villain in the world right now.
Oh, boy.
Now you look at who's a conqueror, who's El Campeon 2022. Huh? Do you see the promotion I'm providing here? Do you see what can actually take place here? And who's going to be celebrated for being victorious and being a conqueror?
Y'all paying attention? There's a reason why this fight's happening, man.
Yeah.
Canelo's saving the world by beating the big bad Russian.
Yeah. I'm telling you,
don't get fighter of the year. Watch.
Wake up. Wake up.
So what I want to do now.
And my thing is.
Okay.
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
My thing is them guys. Yeah, them guys come over here on government and get government assistance, as it seems. You know, as far as like you say, being promoted. You know, by the Dan Raphaels and them guys right there, man. So, and the way they're doing it, if you think about this, from what I've been told behind the scenes, Joe Smith is he wants more money than what he should be getting, and that's kind of holding the fight up between him and Beterbiev. And then you got Canelo and Bibble. Of course, he picks Bibble, and this is what they banking on. They banking on Joe Smith to beat Beterbiev, because if he beats Beterbiev, he gonna take that fight like that. But if Beterbiev beats him, watch Canelo do something else, because he don't want that fight with Beterbiev.
Nah,
no.
I don't think Joe Smith, and salute to Joe, he's from New York, but I don't know about this Beterbiev fight, man. God damn. And and salute to Joe Smith, man, but I don't know about this Beterbiev. Beterbiev is just a murderer on a different level, B. He had a cut on his forehead.
Look at this guy's jawline,
He's
man.
Like, yeah, it looked crazy, man. All those cats that come out of that place in Russia, they got that Neanderthal, you know, the buzz cut with the connecting beard. They look like cavemen, and they tough as fuck. That's just a look they got, man. And Beterbiev, I bet you he was like, what cut? Let me fight. Ring bell. What cut? Ring bell. Let's fight. I mean, I saw him twirling a 45-pound barbell on his Instagram like a goddamn baton. I was like, what the fuck? I went to the gym that night, and, you know, I pick those up all the time, and I said, wait a minute, he was twirling that shit. I ain't doing that now. I'm risking injury. But he was doing it on his Instagram like a baton. He was twirling it around his wrist, and I ain't doing that. The guy is just different. And it makes you wonder, because Beterbiev had a belt and Artur had a belt for some time now. There was no talk about them unifying. Y'all noticed that shit? There was never any push for those guys to unify. And I always found that strange. But meanwhile, Canelo gets to say, oh, let those niggas fight each other. Damn right I said that. And his fans follow suit on what he said. Yeah, let them niggas fight each other. Yeah, Benavidez included. You know, let them, yeah, Charlo and Andre, they should fight it. All those guys should fight it out because he wants to fight motherfuckers like Avni Yildirim. Come on, man. So you wonder why? I know Gennadi's going to go up there and get his ass beat. I know that. But I would like to see Gennady make shit interesting. I want him to fucking beat the shit out of Canelo. I'm not going to say it's going to happen, but I'd like to see that and then say, aha, I'm retired. Fuck you, I'm out. Yeah, it was a lucky punch, but that's your problem. I'm out. I'd love to see that.
Yeah.
It all would be right with the universe. But hey, who am I?
Beat Canelo and give him his belts back.
Yeah, beat him and say, yeah, I'm giving him back. Break it up, man. Come on, man. It's ridiculous. So what I want to do is I'm gonna this is a report card from Stormy, the Sensei. I'm gonna say the name, you're gonna give him a grade, and tell me what the grade's about. All right. Erickson Lubin.
Plus.
Why does he get an F plus?
He had a chance that he can box. And because he went into the press conferences and every interview he gave leading up to the fight, the week of the fight, he said that he had a game plan. And I wanted to see what that game plan was. But from go, the first round, I realized he didn't have one. And that's a damn shame. To be a professional fighter, to work your way back through 6 fights after being knocked out in your first world title challenge against Jermell Charlo in the first round. How embarrassing. That you put in all that work and you get to this point and you are unwilling to show that there's separation between you, your merits and accomplishments, and this young man that's coming up. And so therefore I can't grade him better than that because he looked like a rudderless ship in a storm. He didn't have any way to right himself. He didn't have, and the fact that he put the guy down in the 7th round after sustaining so much damage himself that he couldn't even do much more after that because he lost the very next round and was stopped after that in between rounds. So it's like you had a piss poor performance from A to Z. This was not Mr. Cunningham's fault. It was Lubin's, and Lubin's entirely. That wasn't Mr. Cunningham telling him, keep your chin in there and let him keep hitting you with that uppercut like that. That wasn't Mr. Cunningham telling him that. You chose to do some things, and then maybe after he got hit in that first round and found his ass on the canvas, maybe he actually had a concussion and couldn't think straight through the rest of the fight. I don't know how long he and Cunningham have been working together, but that is something that could also be in consideration because remember, when Shane Mosley got dropped in the 3rd, if not 4th round by Manny Pacquiao, he later said in an interview on ESPN, he was on the morning show talking to those people. He said that when Manny Pacquiao dropped him, he blacked out. He said he woke up, it was like round 9. He was in the corner sitting on the stool, and he asked his coach, he's like, what round is this? And they like, oh, this is round 9. He was like, round 9? He didn't even know what had happened from the time when Manny dropped him till they got to the 9th round. So yes, people, concussions, these things are real. If it can happen in the NFL, why can't it happen in boxing where the objective is to hit somebody upside the freaking head? See, when I say the things that I say them with foundation. There's grassroots here. So maybe Lubin was freaking out of it. Possibly from that first round when he got dropped.
I think he got dropped in the second round. He got dropped in the mid of the second round, but it don't matter because it happened
very early in the fight.
Very early in the fight, yeah.
The whole point of it is it's too early for that kind of thing to be happening, and then you not be able to make an adjustment or whatever. So it's a high probability that something like that could have occurred. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I grade it like that. And the book is still open on Fondura, but for now, we do know this. He's like the Venus flytrap. If you get in there with him, you're only playing up to his strengths, being on the inside with him. You got to make him use that length. You got to make him use that reach. You got to make him move his feet. You got to make him prove to you that you can box. So that's my thought on that.
All right. Let's go to Tony Harrison. What's your grade and why?
I grade Tony Harrison's performance, especially based on his fight before that, as an A. I give him an A, not an A plus, not an A minus, but a plain A, because he fought a guy who just come off of a huge fight with Fondura and who was game to get right back in there against a top-notch opponent. There has to be a certain amount of respect for fighters who do things like that. Just like my man Gabe Rosado getting right back in there with Shane Mosley Jr. after Jaime Munguia, after, Beck the Bully, and then what's his name? Danny Jacobs. So you have to respect fighters who do that. But I give him an A because he came back focused up, fought the type of fight that he needed to do to provide separation between where he is and where other perceived fringe contenders and pretenders may be. So a very good performance by Tony Harrison. Still has his wit about himself, still has that little bit of play and in himself, and that's his personality, that's who he is and everything. But he'll be a problem for anybody because he can box. Remember, I said it so many times, when a guy can box, he's always in a fight when he can box. And Tony Harrison boxed his butt off this past weekend, and he showed that he's still a live dog in the race at 154. So I grade Harrison's performance as an A.
I'm with that. And salute to Trick. He had to go. He got to get up in the morning. Let's love Trick Nolte. Y'all make sure y'all hit him up on his Cash App, man. When you see these guests on there, he's always hitting the ground running, man. Much love and appreciation to him. Yeah, so that's Tony Harrison with the A. Gennady Golovkin.
Gennady Golovkin is I rate him as a B minus in the fight that he had. He won, and he was able to stop the opponent. He still has a punch. The punch is the last thing to leave a guy, but his reflexes, his stamina, his ability overall has taken a tremendous hit. His inactivity didn't help, but he still turned back the challenge of a younger fighter who was even off longer than he was. But the B minus is due to the fact that he still showed separation between himself and had the wherewithal how to turn the heat up a little bit when he realized that his opponent was starting to fade. I think that right hand that knocked Murata's mouthpiece out of his mouth did some damage to Murata's jaw, and Murata went into safety first mode after that because he didn't fight too much after that at all, especially in the same round. That mouthpiece was knocked about 10 feet away from him out of his mouth when Triple G threw that right hook that went around his guard. Boom. And he, for the rest of the fight, was stretching his jaw out. Even in the post fight, when they were in the ring standing around, he was still flexing his jaw. So there may have been something there that, Triple G might have hurt his jaw, might have had a dislocation or something, or felt something pop. but he was more concerned with that than fighting. And that's when he ran into trouble, because when he was, you could see the mental distance. He wasn't present in the fight, and Triple G could notice and pick up on that. So he started punching more and going after him more aggressively and everything, because there was nothing coming back. So he still had the killer instinct that he has as a hunter in there. So B- is his grade for that, but it has nothing to do. Don't think that the B- is thinking of him in a positive way. It's actually thinking of him in a negative way, because he did what he was supposed to do.
Supposed to do, yeah.
And that is why I would grade him out for a B- there.
Bet. Ryan Garcia.
Oh man, Ryan Garcia. This is funny here, because after being out of the ring, talking all that stuff before the whole step away from fighting because of mental health and everything, I grade Ryan Garcia as a C-. And I give him a C- because he went 12 rounds against a guy who was not going to be a danger to him, but he showed a lot of what's lacking in his, but he went through with it.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't allow himself to get frustrated, foul, and stuff like that. He just continued to do the same things over and over with each round. It was like, if you saw the 7th round, it was just like the 3rd round. You know what I'm saying? So it was like that kind of thing for him. Now, is there room for improvement with Ryan? Absolutely. But what's going to be interesting is whatever his next outing is going to be. That's when you're going to have to really grade him solidly, because Goosen and he's first camp, this like, okay, they had a safe opponent. They had a safe victory. He didn't do a lot of good things. He didn't work the jab. He didn't work the body. He didn't cut the ring off, but he went the distance.
Yeah.
He didn't peter out. We've seen guys young like him, not in shape, peter out. That's something to build on, but it's not a lot. It's a very thin veil. But yeah, C- is what I would give Ryan on his performance. And it'll be interesting what type of opponent they pick next, what weight it'll be at, and where are they going to go with that.
I didn't watch the Shane Mosley Jr. fight. Did you watch that?
Yes, sir. And thank you for asking, because that fight right there, let me tell you about Sugar Shane Jr., bro. He looked great.
Really?
And we know he has had a rough go.
He's had some trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. And a few losses. But let me tell you what I noticed about this fight. And Gabe is not a pushover. Not
No.
in the least. And he just coming off of a tough fight against Jaime Munguia, which a fight with Shane, that might have been too soon because of the tough
fight just happened.
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah, it just happened.
Yeah, that was his last fight, and just a couple months ago. And it's like, but what I noticed about Shane, and I said this in my my post fight and everything, Shane has great genes. He has great genetics. He has what his dad has, and is a bigger man, and maybe a little stronger, and dare I say, maybe a little faster.
Really?
And what he was doing to Gabe on this night, he was so fast that he was hurting Gabe with shots that Gabe couldn't see. And I was amazed at it. And just like I spoke about Lubin needing to throw combinations at Fundora, I would have loved to be in his corner on that night with Gabe, because he could have stopped Gabe. He just wasn't throwing the combinations. But Drew, his punches were so fast that Gabe couldn't see them. And it's like, a flash right hand and then a left hook to the body, and Gabe was like doubling over. It was like he couldn't gauge Mosley's speed. So I'm saying to myself, I would love to coach Mosley Jr. You haven't heard me say that about nobody, but I would love to coach Mosley Jr. because he has something, but it's like he needs to be strengthened in certain areas, most in the mental department, because he's a son of a legend. So the expectations on his shoulders are very
high. Very high.
But he has ability that some of these other sons of legends don't have. Like what's his name?
Chavez Jr.
No. Eubank Jr.
Chris Eubank.
He don't have what Mosley Jr. has, but he's had more success than Mosley Jr. because Mosley Jr., I think they kind of put him in a blender too quick and everything. But he may be one of those guys, Mosley Jr., that will learn as he goes.
Learn on the job.
And as you go and you have success, you get more confidence. Because I think that's what that is. But he has some ability. Fast hands. Fast.
I'm not even gonna lie.
I likened it to Michael Nunn. That's what I'm saying when I was watching him.
Wow.
How fast he looked. Watch the fight for yourself, and you can make your own assessment. You don't have to agree with what I'm saying, but I was excited for him and his performance. Now, he did peter out the last couple of rounds. His conditioning, he got a little tired, and maybe it was because it was mental stress for him. It was like he knew Gabe was a top-notch fighter, even though he's not the world champion, but he's been in there with everybody and has that type of experience that you don't knock him out. But Mosley Jr. showed me something, and I would love to see him build on that. And I grade him out from that fight a B. Okay. I grade Mosley out a B because he did exactly what he needed to do. There were moments in there where Gabe couldn't find him, and it was just off of his athletic movement and stuff. It was like, he could step over and stuff. He was quick. He could jump out of the way of Gabe's shots and then fire his own, but he wasn't putting them together in combinations. I would have loved to see him riff off like 3, 4, 5 punch combinations on him because the guy couldn't see his hand speed. And that's funny when you're watching a boxing match and you could tell when one guy can't see the other guy's punches.
Right.
It's something that you have to know what you're looking at when you see that. And I saw that in that fight.
Yeah, it's interesting because I've seen Junior fight a couple of times, now like a few times. And I said, first thing I said was, he ain't his dad. But it sounds like he's learning on the job. And sometimes fighters like that, when they could grow on a job, first of all, the expectations, I think by now, they're not putting his father's career on him because they know he's not that guy. He's gotten the losses out the way. All right. And he hasn't taken like damage. Those losses was just like split decisions, I believe. I have to look at it. But based off what you're telling me, it sounds like he's growing as a fighter, which could work out for him down the line. Because Gabe Rosado's not a pushover. Gabe Rosado's a road warrior, man. He'll fight anyone like he just fought. He just fought Jaime Munguia of all people. And he did well.
Yeah.
And he did well. He didn't get dominated in that fight. So for Gabe to have a hard time with Shane Mosley Jr., I'm going to go back and watch it. I ain't going to lie. I didn't really particularly, I knew about it, but I said, I'm going to pass on that because to me on paper, in my mind, Gabe was the favorite to win that fight. Yeah. I could be wrong. But Gabe
I do think he was favored. I do believe he was favored. He was favored to win.
Wow. Good for him, man. So I'm going to go look at it. Last grade. We got 5 minutes. Last grade. Fundora, what's your grade?
I grade him as a B. no B plus, no B minus, but a B, because he was allowed to thrive in his place of comfort. And he took some shots that proved that you're not just going to get him out of there with a single shot. You got to put them together to get him. And then when he did get knocked down for the first time in his career, he got up and fought back. He got up, fought back, and won the fight. Guys who rise from the canvas and still turn victorious within the same fight, you have to give them hella consideration, because getting up from being knocked down has to do with courage. It has to do with mental strength and fortitude. And he gave that and showed that. And you know, you can't take that away from a guy. You cannot take that away from a guy. You have to respect that. You have to give them consideration. And that's a shout out to the rest of the men in the division, that just because you put him down don't mean he gonna be out. You better be ready for him to get back up and get back into the fray, because that's exactly what he did. And he won the very next round after being put down on the canvas against Lubin. So, yeah, I grade him a B. And this is no controversy in the thought process or anything. This is just a heads up looking at what transpired and giving a man credit for accomplishing a victory. That's you know, being head on with that.
With that being said, y'all, I saw the comments earlier. And if y'all want to say it's an elephant in the room, we could talk. I will address it tomorrow, because there's things being said about Fundora, about gloves, about how Lubin's face looked. Listen, I'll touch on it tomorrow. Let me just be on record saying I'm not making no accusations. I'm going to address the accusations, and I'm going to ask you guys, what do you think? And then I'll give my opinion on it. I'm going to ask you guys, but I'm just being very honest. I'm not pointing the finger at foul play, Jesse. I'm not doing that. You know, I'm hearing it. People are in my inbox. I'm getting emails. I'm like, all right, I'll look at it. You know what I'm saying? But let me just go on record saying this. I'm so tired of this shit. I do not want to have these conversations. But, you know, we got to look at it. I'll talk about it tomorrow morning. I'll talk about it tomorrow. And it's going to be more or less asking you guys, what do you think? Because I'm just tired at this point. I'm just tired.
We got two more.
What's that?
We got two more.
Let's get it.
The women's bout.
Oh, yes. Go for it.
The women's bout, the WBC, WBA unification bout between Marlon Esparza and Naoko Fujioka. Dude, that was a good fight between those two women. And Naoko is the first and only five-time world champion from Japan. So Marlon was not in there against a cakewalk. And Marlon has great, you know, amateur background and everything, Olympic experience, but they battled. And Fujioka is she's a more technical kind of fighter, and she was giving Marlon all kinds of trouble. Marlon had to make adjustments where she would, you know, go in and brawl a little bit and then box from the outside. But Fujioka was like giving her as good as she could get, you know. But I noticed that when Marlon got rough with her, that frustrated her. And that's where Marlon was able to create separation between the two. She won a unanimous decision and became unified flyweight champion. Now she's the holder of the WBC and WBA belts. Fujioka didn't like that. Of course, she was disappointed in the decisions of the judges and whatnot. But I salute Marlon because she fought her butt off, man. And again, I've been talking about these women boxers that they are doing great things. They deserve their day in the sun. They deserve for people to to focus on what they're doing and give them shine, because they are fighting each other. These women are fighting each other, where we're begging guys and having fantasy fights on the men's division of things. These women are putting it together. And the second fight, I would grade Marlon as an A, because she beat a woman who was a world champion when she was still a kid, basically.
Wow, that's hilarious.
That woman was 46 years old, Fujioka.
Woo.
Okay, and Japan's only 5-time world champion. So she was accomplished. So for Marlon to get in there and defeat someone like that, that's an accomplishment. And you have to give her the credit that she's due for that. So much respect for Marlon Esparza, man. I love her smile. She's got a cute smile. Now the other fight is Michaela Mayer and Jennifer Hahn. That fight right there, Jennifer Hahn is a tough customer in the women's division of boxing. I think she's in there with Katie Holmes. She's a rugged, battle-tested fighter that was going to show us something against Mayer if she had anything. But I'm going to tell you, that last fight that Michaela had against Hamadouche, the woman from Spain, I think it was, that was a Pier 6 brawl from beginning to end. And Hamadouche was the type of fighter that put a lot of pressure and threw voluminous punches. So Michaela had to step that up and meet her with that. And I think that victory alone gave her a championship mentality that it's going to be hard to deter her now. She beat Hahn every single round, Drew, and busted her up. Hahn didn't win a round. And Michaela was strong, pushed her back a lot, did exactly what she wanted to do, had a hell of a performance. And she might be in the running for Katie Holmes or somebody, whoever the winner of Serrano and Holmes in the future. But the thing about it is, dude, she's bringing it. She's coming on. She's built like a person who runs track or something, but she's strong as an ox. You can see it in her physicality. And she can box. And she got heart. I'm loving it, man. It's like watching these women do their thing, and I've been talking about them on my channel. It's like, gotta take your hat off. A+ for Michaela Mayer, because she's just showing. She's showing it. She's showing it. Yes, sir.
There it is, man. There it is. And on that note, we're going to get out of here. Stormy, let them know how they can find you if they don't already know.
Oh, man, everybody can find me right here on YouTube. Stormy B Man is the channel. We got a lot of good things happening over there. We got a lot of growth, and we got great content coming for you. So tune in, man. Tune in.
No doubt. And while I got y'all here, y'all make sure y'all subscribe to the Painful Excellence Podcast. That is not a boxing channel. That is my second channel. Adult conversations and real life situations discussed with class, and we learn from each other there. We have a good time. Y'all go there. That's the link right there. And we have a lot of fun over there. What I'll do is I'll hit y'all, for those of you that don't know and never saw it, I'll hit y'all with the intro to the other channel on the way out the door. But y'all know where to find me. I'll be right back here tomorrow morning, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we're going to cook tomorrow on the elephant in the room. But I'm going to bless y'all with this on the way out. Make sure y'all subscribe to the Painful Excellence Podcast. And we have fun over there too. So peace, y'all.